Guys, what is going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope you keep yourself occupied in this lockdown in the UK. But obviously, I don't know from which part of the world and what it's like from some of you that are watching this from other countries. But in the UK, we're in a lockdown. As I told you, like 2 weeks ago, we went into a lockdown, and we're still. And then this might go till probably Easter, maybe April time. So looks like we're going to be locked in for a while. But let's move on to boxing, guys. Oscar De La Hoya has made some funny comments. Not funny comments. It's very possible. He says, the reason why I say funny comments, because Oscar De La Hoya is known for making controversial remarks, and to many boxing fans, he's made another one. He says that Manny Pacquiao and Terence Crawford beat Errol Spence. The reason why many would consider his comments controversial is because Errol Spence probably goes into both those fights as favorite. There's many people that think Crawford beats Spence, but not many people are giving Manny Pacquiao a chance, apart from, of course, his loyal Filipinos who obviously stick by through him, through thick and thin. Most people think that Manny Pacquiao loses to Errol Spence. So that's why I think a lot of people thought Oscar De La Hoya's remarks were a bit iffy in terms of, them saying that. Listen, Oscar De La Hoya has been in the ring with Pacquiao. But again, look, listen, I love Pacquiao. Everyone knows that. I think he's a great fighter, achieved a lot. He's done a lot in the game. But at this stage of his career, can he beat Errol Spence? I can't write him off, as I said before, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. I do think it's a tough task. It's a hard ask. Spence looks like a beast right now. I was really impressed with his performance against Danny Garcia. Pacquiao's a different style. He's a lot more quicker on his feet, although his feet aren't what they used to be. He's also very fast hands, which will obviously cause Spence a problem. I think Spence has got a granite chin. He's very tough. Spence is very relentless. The pressure that he'll put on Pacquiao at this age, can Pacquiao withstand that? I do worry for Manny in that fight. Because I'm a fan of Manny Pacquiao. I wouldn't want to see him get knocked out or get beat badly, especially at this age, because I don't think he would have stood a chance against Manny. I'm not going to go that far and say he wouldn't have stood a chance, but I don't think he beats Manny Pacquiao in his prime. Of course, Errol Spence is a good fighter, so he stands a chance against anybody. But in his prime, I think Manny Pacquiao beats him, and I think when I see a fighter that obviously not what they used to be and they're on the decline, which Pacquiao is, he's 42 years of age, he's old now and he's on the decline. He's not what he used to be. You wouldn't want to see a fighter that I think would have lost to him in his prime end up beating him in brutal fashion. We saw that happen to Roy Jones. Now, Pacquiao hasn't diminished like Roy Jones did. Pacquiao's obviously still a world champion, still a legitimate world champion. He beat Keith Thurman, which obviously a lot of people thought he would lose as well. But I think this is an even step up from Keith Thurman. I think Spence is a lot tougher than Thurman. I think Spence is probably a better boxer than Thurman. Probably Thurman's a harder puncher, but Spence is relentless. He doesn't, he's just relentless. And at this age, the fact that Pacquiao's a lot smaller than Spence, it's a tough ask. It's a tough ask. Tough ask. It's a tough fight. And I think there will come a time where Pacquiao will stop proving us wrong. At the end of the day, he's human. He's human, and everyone has a limit. Everyone has an end. And Pacquiao's end is nigh. It's, either he retires himself or in a fight he will be retired in the sense that he will lose and then won't fight again. That time is not long away. If he keeps fighting killers like Spence and Crawford, and some people don't think Spence and Crawford are killers, but Spence is a horrible fight. If I'm honest with you, I think Crawford would be a more less dangerous fight. I think Spence is a dangerous fight at this stage in Manny's career. Crawford's a more fight where, you could probably get outpointed, but it's not a fight where I would think that it's a risk. Every fight's a risk, right? But when you're going in with a guy like Spence, who's big, who's strong, who can punch, who's relentless, that's a tough fight. That's a tough ask at this stage. In terms of Spence beating Crawford, I've always favoured Spence against Crawford. But again, De La Hoya thinks De La Hoya rates Crawford. He rates Crawford. And he thinks Crawford beats Spence. It wouldn't shock me. That's a 50-50 fight. 50-50 fight. And a fight that could go either way. And that's why everyone's clamoring for that fight. More people are clamoring for Errol Spence to face Terence Crawford than they are face Manny Pacquiao, because most people think he beats Manny Pacquiao and Pacquiao's at the end of his career, whereas Crawford's in his prime. They're both young, undefeated, and they need to fight one another. We're not getting that fight, so a lot of people are left frustrated because they think, when are we gonna get these big fights? When are we gonna get these guys, fighting one another? And I just don't think Spence and Crawford are gonna. They may not ever fight, and it'd be a damn shame. I think there's a greater chance that Manny will fight one of those two than them two fighting, which is a damn shame. A damn shame. And it just shows the kind of warrior Pacquiao is, and what cloth Manny Pacquiao's cut from, and what era Manny Pacquiao comes from. The era that Manny Pacquiao comes from is a completely different era where he was just, he'd jump in and fight anyone. I believe Manny Pacquiao's first breakup fight in America was against Ledwaba, if I'm not mistaken. He just jumped in on, I think it was on like a week notice or something. He was a replacement, I think. And he come in and he beat him. And see that old school mentality, Pacquiao still got that. I think Floyd Mayweather's mentality has really rubbed out on these fighters. And now a lot of fighters just want to stay undefeated. They want to pad up their records. If you take a loss now, it's like, oh my God, you're a bum. I just don't understand. I just don't understand why the mentality's changed. Floyd Mayweather's had a big impact on the mentality of boxing changing. Like, everyone wants to pad up their records. Nobody wants to take an L. Listen, man. All the greats, most of them took L's, and a lot of them. Ali, how many L's did he have? Sugar Ray Leonard, how many L's did he have? How many L's did Duran have? Hagler, Hearns, like, all of these guys had L's. All of these guys took L's. Many of the greats took L's, and some of them took a lot of L's. But that shows that you've been in the ring with a lot of killers, especially when you were highly rated. Look at Roy Jones. Look how many losses he's got. Yeah, I know Roy Jones went past his prime and he went on too long. But still, like, other guys that lost in their prime that were world-class, elite-level fighters. Look, Lomachenko, everyone was talking him up. He's lost because he's fighting tough competition. So that happens. When you fight stiff competition back to back to back, you will lose. I've said this before. When you see a guy that's undefeated, the chances are he's not fought the best in his division. That's why he's got that record. Unless he's like a Mayweather that just neutralizes a lot of his opponents, or has got just a gifted talent. Most guys, when you fight the best back to back to back, you take losses. Generally, the top fighters will take losses. Most fighters take L's. Most greats I've seen that have like 5 or 6 losses by the end of their career. If they fought enough and they fought as many killers and a lot of fighters in their prime, they'll lose. So there's no shame in losing. I just think that there's too many people now that are afraid of losing just because of the Mayweather era, where Mayweather made it out like being undefeated is so important. And now all these fighters love to pad up the record. Mayweather actually fought a lot of tough competition. He fought all the best guys. He might have not fought them at the right time, which again probably aided him being undefeated. If he had fought those guys, all of those guys in their prime, and listen, Mayweather, many think he wasn't undefeated. Many people thought he lost to Castillo. So many people thought he had an L. He should have had an L on his record. So let's not get it twisted. Let's start fighting these big fights. A lot of these guys are padding up their records and not fighting like the old school fighters used to fight. It's become more all about money and all commercial. Like, we need to see these fights. What I don't understand about boxing is that these big fights are not happening, and yet these big fights are what's going to generate the most money. These big fights are what's going to generate most business. But a lot of fighters have egos. They want to have big splits. They think they're the A side. All that crap in boxing that's killing it, in the sense that, and that's why the UFC is great, because Dana White just makes the fights. Everybody wants to see Terence Crawford be Errol Spence, but we're not getting it, and we're not guaranteed we're ever going to get it, right? Tim Bradley said that he feels that even if Terence Crawford goes over to a PBC, he doesn't think the fight's going to happen. So that in itself tells there's something wrong with boxing. When we're expecting a lot of the Spence fans, Crawford fans are having a dig at Manny Pacquiao's 42, right? And they're saying, oh, he needs to fight all these guys. He's all the top guys. It's your guys' turn now to fight the top guys. You know, you need to fight each other. The fans want to see you fight. They've seen Manny Pacquiao's career. They already view him as a great. They need to see whether you guys are a great now or greats, or if you're what people say you are, what your fans say you are, you know, and that's what we want to see. Like, nobody, like, listen, man, they need to make Spence Crawford. Simple as that. They need to make that fight, man. I don't know how many times I've clamored about it. Make that fight. You know, it's all good, Oscar, saying, well, oh, Crawford and Pacquiao beat. We need to see the fights. We need to see Spence Crawford. We need to see that fight. I'm not here defending Manny Pacquiao. I just think he's achieved a lot in the game, and he's given blood, sweat, and tears for years and years in boxing now. I don't think he has to keep. I don't feel he has to keep, you know, giving tough fights back to back when it's these young guys' time to fight one another and give the fans the tough fights. Why are we always asking Pacquiao to give tough fights? He's done it over so many years. It's these guys now, Crawford and Spence, to fight one another. That's what people want to see, right? That's what the fans are clamoring for. Let's have it. Let's make it. Rather than, you know, talking about it and guys coming out and saying, oh, he'll smash him and he'll beat him. Everyone's got an opinion. We need to see it. We need to see what happens when they get in the ring. But that's my take. What do you guys think? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. I'd love to know what you guys think. Do you agree with De La Hoya? Do you think Crawford and Pacquiao beat Spence? Let me know your opinions. Let me know your thoughts. And guys, remember to please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Make sure to join my Facebook boxing group, and I'll give you more information on that. And guys, I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.